Hi, I'm Doug McKinlay and you're watching Adorama TV. For today's video, we're going to look at shadow in photography. Now recently we did one on silhouettes. You might ask yourself, aren't they the same thing? Well, the short answer is no. Well, not really anyway. Silhouettes tend to be subjects that are really boldly lit from behind, whereas shadow tends to help sculpt images, much more three-dimensional. In short, they add texture and they add definition to pictures. For our purposes today, I've broken the video down into 6 separate components that I think will help improve your use of shadow in your photography. Number 1, contrast and drama. One of the most important uses of shadow in photography is to create contrast for dramatic effect. For instance, with this image currently on screen, we can see that the light is morning light, with the sun at a lower angle, thus cutting across the face of the mountain and creating hard shadow in the crevices, which adds texture and drama, while at the same time, the bottom left of the image is almost lost to silhouette, forcing the viewer to concentrate on the lit part of the peak. It's the shadows here that create the drama. If I had shot the image an hour or so later, I would have lost the shadows and it would just be a picture of a boring mountain. With this second image, although the shadow is not as strong, it still works the same way, by sculpting the cliff face and revealing the drama of the structure. Number 2, focus. Shadows can be used as a tool to help focus a viewer's attention. They can remove detail from an image that are less important, thus forcing the viewer to look at the area the photographer deems to be the most important part of the image. The second image works in a slightly different way, but its use of shadow has the same intention. Instead of any foreground shadow, this image uses stage lighting and spot metering to isolate the dancers in a dark backdrop, thus once again manipulating the viewer to look at what the photographer wants them to see. Number 3, direct in the eye. Let me be clear, shadows are important compositional tools, creating darker areas in an image that act as signposts for the viewer's eye, meaning that these darker areas in an image can make or break a picture. With this picture, it's a combination of traditional landscape compositional rules, linear perspective and the rule of thirds, combined with the use of shadow that adds the pace to the image. With the trekker's shadows falling to the left of the line and a dark pool of shadow in the upper right of the picture, the photographer has used the shadow areas as his roadmap to what he wants the viewer to look at. In this case, a line of trekkers on their way to Mount Everest Base Camp. Number 4, showing form. Now personally, I think this is what shadows do best. This often involves the light at low angles, morning or afternoon, casting long shadows across a given terrain. For instance, with this first picture, we have a large sand dune in Namibia with half of it lost to shadow. But it's the use of the afternoon light at a low angle, combined with the natural shape of the sand, that allows the photographer to show the dune's form. Similar to the way form is shown with this desert mesa. But it's not just landscapes where form can be revealed by the use of low-angle light and shadow. In fact, form can be shown in a variety of subjects, like this large male African elephant, or with architectural subjects like these. Number 5, texture. Like revealing form, shadows can also reveal texture. Again, this involves a light at a low angle, casting long shadows across a landscape. Early morning light on this image not only enhances the overall picture, but it accentuates the granular texture of the red earth. A couple hours later, it is to be lost to hard overhead sun. Similarly, the low angle of light on the hoodoos of Bryce Canyon not only adds to the form, but also highlights the texture. However, texture is not solely the domain of sand and rock. Water too can have texture if shot under the right conditions, like these black and white waves lit by a low-angle winter sun. Number 6, people. Now, the use of shadow in portraiture is about as old as cave painting. And no photographer today worth their salt would ignore shadow in their pictures. For studio photographers who have access to all that lighting kit, creating shadows can be quite easy. But for us lowly reportage photographers, we need to find it in the natural world. And for me personally, that means using as much available light as possible. Like most subjects, portraits in general fare better when the sun is at a lower angle, especially if you want to keep that speed light in the camera bag. Of course, just because the sun isn't cooperating doesn't mean we can down tools and relax. Over the years, I've found that time is my #1 enemy on a job. So, for me at least, there is little time to wait for the perfect light. Having said that though, if we look at this first image, I've managed to get nice shadow in the subject's face by using side lighting provided by an open door. This works really well with window light too. Still, there is a place for hard light in photography. With this second image, I was in a refugee camp in Afghanistan a couple of months after 9/11, and I wanted to convey a sense of difficulty, of harshness. So instead of searching for or waiting for the perfect light, I chose to use the midday winter sun to make this image, showing all the hard shadows with the hope that it helped convey the difficult situation these people were living in. And last but not least, side-by-side pictures of a vase of flowers on my kitchen table. One with shadow and one without. Which is better? You be the judge. So just to finish up, it's drilled into our heads as photographers to pay attention to the light, as it should be. But light is only half the equation. It's imperative that we as photographers understand shadow too. Thanks for watching. I'm Doug McKinlay for Adorama TV. Don't forget, you can subscribe to Adorama TV for more great videos. And tell us what you think. You can like, share, comment on this video. And stop by the Adorama Learning Center for more great tips and tricks.